The wind screamed like a freight train through the Hillary steppe, but Elena Vasquez didn't hear it anymore. Not really. After 3 weeks at altitude, the roar had become background noise, like the hum of traffic in the Brooklyn neighborhood where she grew up. She crouched low against the rock, oxygen mask fogged, gloved fingers clawing at the fixed rope. Her legs burned. Her lungs felt like they'd been packed with wet concrete, but she was still moving. One breath, one step. That's all it took to keep being alive. She was 37, divorced, no kids, a physical therapist from Queens who treated injured runners and told them to push through pain they couldn't imagine. Now here she was, pushing through pain she could imagine, because she was living it. The summit was less than 200 vertical meters above her. People died for less. Eleanor had come to Everest for the same reason most did, to prove something, to whom she wasn't sure anymore. Her ex-husband Marco had laughed when she told him, "You, on Everest? You'll freeze your ass off before you hit Camp 2. He'd said it while packing his gym bag, already halfway out the door to his new life with the 28-year-old yoga instructor. Elena hadn't argued. She'd just booked the flight to Kathmandu 6 weeks later. Now, at 8,700 meters in the death zone, she understood why they called it that. Your body starts dying the moment you cross 8,000. Brain cells misfire. Hallucinations creep in. The mountain doesn't kill you outright, it just waits for you to make one small tired mistake. She checked her watch, 6:42 a.m. The sun was rising behind her, painting the South Col in violent pink and gold. Below, the Khumbu icefall looked like a frozen river of shattered glass. Above, the triangular summit pyramid rose clean and cruel against a sky so blue it hurt to look at. Her climbing partner, Raj, a Sherpa from Namche Bazaar, waited 10 meters ahead. He wasn't roped to her anymore. They'd unclipped at the balcony to save weight and move faster. He turned, gave her the thumbs-up sign. His eyes behind the goggles were calm. He'd done this 9 times before. "You good, Elena?" His voice crackled through the radio. She nodded, even though he couldn't see it well. "Good," she lied. The truth was she wasn't good. Her right crampon had loosened on the yellow band an hour earlier. She'd stopped to tighten it, fingers numb, cursing under her breath in Spanish. Now every step felt like her foot might shear off. And the headache, God, the headache was a railroad spike behind her left eye. She'd popped 2 Dymox and a codeine at Camp 4, but it barely touched the pain. Still, she moved, because stopping meant dying. She thought about her mother, Rosa, who had died of breast cancer when Elena was 19. Rosa had never climbed anything higher than the stairs to their 3rd-floor walk-up. But she'd fought. Every chemo session, every bad night, she'd fought like the mountain was inside her. Elena remembered sitting beside the hospital bed, holding her mother's hand, listening to the monitors beep. Rosa had whispered, "Mija, when it hurts, you keep going. Pain is just information. It tells you you're still here." Eleanor had carried that sentence like a talisman through every marathon, every breakup, every long night at the clinic when patients screamed during rehab. Now the mountain was telling her the same thing. "You're still here." She reached the Hillary Step. The infamous 40-foot rock face looked smaller in photos. In person, it was a vertical refrigerator door coated in ice. Fixed ropes hung like lifelines. Raj was already halfway up, moving smooth and sure. Eleanor clipped in. Her Jumars, mechanical ascenders, clacked against the rope. She kicked her crampons into the snow-choked crack, pulled, kicked again. Her arms shook. Oxygen hissed through the mask like a slow leak. Halfway up, her right foot slipped. For one endless second, she hung, nothing under her but 8,000 feet of air. The rope caught. Her harness dug into her thighs. She slammed against the rock, breath knocked out, stars exploding behind her eyes. Raj's voice in the radio, "Elena, talk to me." She gasped. "Slipped. I'm okay." She wasn't okay. Her right ankle throbbed like fire, probably sprained, maybe fractured. But she couldn't stop. Not here. Not now. She pulled herself higher, one hand over the other. The summit ridge appeared above her like a promise. She crested the step, crawled onto the narrow snow slope beyond. Raj was waiting, hand extended. She took it. He pulled her up. They stood together on the ridge. The wind dropped for a moment, as if the mountain had decided to let them breathe. The summit was 50 meters away, a gentle snow slope, almost anticlimactic after everything. Eleanor looked down. The world fell away in every direction. Tibet to the north, Nepal to the south. Clouds boiled below like a white sea. She felt small, insignificant, and, for the first time in years, free. Raj smiled. "You first, sister." She shook her head. Together. They walked side by side, slow steps, each one deliberate. Her ankle screamed, but she ignored it. Pain was information. She was still here. At 8:47 a.m., they stepped onto the top of the world. No trumpets, no crowd. Just wind, snow, and the triangular metal survey pole planted years ago. Prayer flags snapped behind them, faded red, blue, white, green, yellow. Elena pulled off her mask for 10 seconds. Just 10, because she wanted to feel the air. It was thin, cold, electric. She tasted metal and ice. Her eyes watered. She thought of Marco, of her empty apartment, of the patients waiting back home, of Rosa. She unzipped her down suit, reached inside, pulled out the small plastic bag she'd carried since base camp. Inside, her mother's silver wedding ring, the one Rosa had worn until the day she died. Eleanor had worn it on a chain around her neck for 18 years. She knelt, careful of the drop, and pressed the ring into the snow just below the pole. She covered it gently, like tucking in a child. "For you, Mama," she whispered. "We made it." Raj placed a small stone beside it. A Sherpa tradition. Then he stood back. They stayed 5 minutes, long enough to take photos, long enough to feel the silence, long enough for Elena to understand that the summit wasn't the point. The point was the climb. The point was choosing to keep going when everything said stop. They started down. Descent is harder than ascent. Gravity wants you. Your legs are jelly. Your mind is foggy. Every mistake is amplified. They rappelled the Hillary step. Eleanor's ankle had swollen inside her boot. Each lower felt like knives. She bit her lip until it bled. At the south summit, they passed a Korean team coming up. One woman, young, maybe 25, looked at Eleanor with wide eyes. "Did you summit?" the woman asked in accented English. Eleanor nodded. "Yes," the woman's face lit up. "I want to be like you." Eleanor almost laughed. "Like me? A divorced 30-something with a busted ankle and a dead mother and a lifetime of bad decisions?" Instead, she said, "You already are. Just keep moving." They continued down. At 8,300 meters, the wind picked up again. Whiteout, visibility 10 feet. Elena and Raj huddled against a rock, waiting it out. Her oxygen bottle was low, maybe 30 minutes left. She turned it down to half flow. Conserve. Raj checked his radio. "Camp 4 says storm clears in 2 hours. We wait." Elena nodded. She couldn't feel her toes anymore. She thought about turning back earlier in her life. When Marco left. When her mother got the diagnosis. When the doctor said, "It's stage 4. She'd wanted to run then too, but she'd stayed. She'd held Rosa's hand. She'd kept going. The storm eased. They moved again. By 2 p.m., they reached the South Col. The tents looked like battered orange flags against the snow. Eleanor collapsed inside theirs. Raj brought tea. She drank it black, scalding. She peeled off her boot, ankle purple, swollen twice normal size. Raj wrapped it tight. "You did it," he said. She looked at him. "We did it." That night, she dreamed of her mother. Rosa was young again, 35 maybe, standing at base camp in a red parka. She smiled the way she used to before the cancer, wide, unafraid. "You climbed my mountain, Miha," Rosa said. Eleanor tried to speak. Couldn't. Rosa touched her cheek. Now go home. Live. Elena woke crying. The next morning, they descended to Camp 2, then Camp 1, then Le Bouche. Each day her ankle hurt less. Each day the air got thicker. Each day the world came back. In Namche Bazaar, she bought a coffee, real coffee, not the instant crap from high camp. She sat on a stone wall, ankle-propped, watching trekkers go by. Kids played soccer in the street. Yak bells clanged. She called her best friend Carla from the lodge satellite phone. I made it, Elena said. Carla screamed so loud the connection crackled. You crazy bitch! Tell me everything, Elena laughed. For the first time in weeks, real laughter. I will. When I get home. Home. The word felt different now. She flew out of Lukla 3 days later. Kathmandu, then Doha, then JFK. Customs asked if she had anything to declare. She thought of the ring she'd left on the summit. No, she said. Nothing. Back in Queens, her apartment smelled like dust and absence. She opened the windows. Let the city noise in. Horns, sirens, voices. She unpacked slowly. Her summit photo went on the fridge, held by a magnet shaped like the Empire State Building. She went back to work the next week. Patients asked about the limp. Long story, she said. One day, a new patient arrived. A woman in her 50s, post-knee replacement. She looked scared. Eleanor smiled. First session is always the worst, but you keep going, one step at a time. The woman nodded.